The Bad Batch. I have been excited about these guys since they first popped up in the final season of the Clone Wars, which the last 4 episodes of the final season was better than any Star Wars movie ever created. Fight me about it, debate about it in the comments. But I love the clone stories, honestly, and I've been a little behind on reviews because I've been watching the show but not reviewing it. So I'm gonna touch on episode 1, the hour-long episode. I'm gonna briefly touch on the whack-ass episode 2, and then finish off at episode 3. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bearded Blurred on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. All right, let's get started. Now this show starts off in grand style. It gives us, the first episode is an hour long, which it should be, honestly, for a good show like this. We should have an hour long episode. But what I also like is they kept to the theming of that theater of war thing with the commentator, World War II commentator. He just like gets up there, he's like, and we've come back to the Bad Batch, whose backs must be hurting because they've been carrying the entire Republic Grand Army on their backs. Like, I love that shit. I think it's really cool. But what I do really like specifically about this one and this season of the show is that they really actually redid that whole opening scene of Revenge of the Sith. They like reanimated General Grievous escaping the pod, Anakin and Obi-Wan saving the Emperor Palpatine. I think it was just really, really cool, and it made me want to like them to redo Revenge of the Sith with the animation and voice actors of the Clone Wars. I think that'd be fucking dope. As we see, the Bad Batch hopped onto the scene. You know whenever they're coming on the scene do something badass because their little music plays and shit. And it's just pretty badass because they really came on the scene and like changed the entire course of that battle. Now my favorite part of this episode, aside from the animation being amazing, is that you get to see Order 66 take place. I love when Order 66 takes place because whenever you see it from different perspectives, regardless of perspective, you see the clones go from being like, all right, Commander, great General, I love you, respect you, to like, it's just like such an epic part, and it's just like the music plays, all the crazy stuff plays. It's just like, it's sad but exciting, but it's just a lot. I love Order 66 scenes. They're great. Now, as we see the Bad Batch Squad 99, they're not affected by Order 66, and it makes sense, right? Because they're genetically modified clones, right? So that inhibitor chip probably got disrupted during that whole process of genetically modifying them, except Crosshair, who clearly, and Crosshair is my favorite Bad Batch clone. I just want to put that out there. He's just so cool. I think snipers are badass, but like, I wasn't caught off guard that he was the one affected. I mean, he has this little ominous voice. He's a little, good soldiers follow orders, like, you know. It's like, so I wasn't surprised when they, you know, went back and shit started hitting the fan. Whenever Tarkin comes on stage, I just know that, you know, shit's about to hit the fan and it's about to get kind of real. Tarkin's a badass and he's just been waiting for the Republic to go to an empire. What I like about this entire scene in this episode is that, you know, we always knew, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, you already knew that the Empire traded out the clones for a live workforce, right, that was cheaper. But you never got to see the logistics of the situation, never got to see things go down, and I think it's just really interesting that we got to actually see this go down and to see that Tarkin's like, all right, let's put these troops to the test, let's put them the pedal to the metal. And I want to be clear, I have never trusted the Kaminoans. I don't know what it is about the Kaminoans. Whenever I see the Kaminoans, I just feel shadiness and indirectness, and just like, they're not telling me the whole story. They're real secretive, like, and who wouldn't be secretive? You cloning people. I don't trust people who clone people. I'm sorry. Now, speaking of Crosshair, we already like know Crosshair on some shit, and you know, his little Negro chip is activated. But you know, it's interesting to see him when it gets sent to Alderaan. Like, he's really like, you know, like, our orders were to kill these people. What are you doing? Like, you're tripping. What are you doing? And it's just like, and they get arrested, they go back to get arrested, and everyone's like, you had no problem not following orders before, why you gotta follow orders now? And the only person who understands really what he's going through besides Tech is Omega. I love Omega. I think Omega is so cool, and I think she's so cool because it just adds to the fact that, look, we have more, like, I love, like, we all saw different kinds of clones, have different kinds of personalities, and we have never seen a female clone. They have never made a woman or girl clone at all. They've only made male clones. So it's just really cool to see Omega, and she's a medical assistant, so I'm curious what special skills she has. Is she just a girl clone, or does she have anything else? And they really haven't revealed that, but we can see that she can clearly shoot, and you know, her eyes are filled with wonder because this is the first time she's been in space. So I'm really curious where they're going to go after this. Unfortunately, Crosshair betrayed them. Of course, we already saw that coming because his Negro chip is activated, but we get a whole new clone to fill the gap. What happens next? Alright, let's talk about episode 2. Episode 2 was whack. It was whack as hell. They go and land on a planet where they have another Deserter clone, and they go and they try to figure out these chain code things, and then next thing you know, they're the ship's being abducted because they gotta repair the ship and get to the place where the chain codes are, but Omega's on the ship, and then Echo goes and shows his R2-D2 skills, and next thing you know, he gets the chain codes, but they can't get the chain codes because there's a whole clone military squadron in front of them while they're lining up, so Omega takes them and sneaks off and sneaks behind them, gives them the chain codes. Then they find out there's a whole little fucking battle, blah blah blah, and then they get off the fucking planet and they're there. It was a boring ass fucking episode. It actually made me irritated that they actually would follow up such a good hour-long episode with that whack shit on episode 3. This third episode was much better than the second episode, and it really wasn't like what made this episode great wasn't like what was happening with the main Bad Batch, right? I mean, the main Bad Batch, real simple shit. They crash down on the planet because some shit was going on with the fucking ship. They had to get a new fucking battery, basically. The battery gets taken by was it a moon dragon? Yeah, they're taken by a moon dragon. Omega and Bull goes and tries to go get the fucking shit. Omega shows how brave she are. She goes into the tunnel. She shows she's actually more, useful than she lets on. But that isn't the meat and potatoes of this episode. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. This episode really is mostly Crosshair, and Crosshair like undergoing this whole enhanced clone treatment. Him about to lead this squad. We're introduced to this guy. This motherfucker that made those chain codes up and gave him so much trouble in episode 2, right? So we get to see who that guy is. But he also introduces what I guess are Purge troopers, and this little cocky guy in the front. We'll get to him. But Crosshair is supposed to lead these guys, and it's so interesting because he's very confident in his stuff, and then Tarkin's really so in these new troopers. But then like the Kaminoans are like, why would you want real fucking people when we're giving you enhanced soldiers? Like, why would you want hamburger helper when we're giving you filet mignon? And I understand the Kaminoans. I don't trust them, but I understand their business sense 100%. As I was saying before, this guy who was at the front, real cocky, arrogant, annoying ass nigga. Like, I don't like this kind of guy. Just come in and do your job, man. Why are you saying all this and yapping at the mouth? Just shut up. Shut up. And it's interesting because they get to the mission on Autoron, which they return to eliminate, their insurgents. And the dude's like, I'm not doing that. We already killed the general. And Crosshair is like, are you not going to follow orders? Is that what you're telling me? And dude's like, yeah, I'm not going to follow orders. And dude's like, all right, pew, 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 pew. And the rest of the soldiers are just... And Crosshair's like, are there going to be any more problems before you report back to base? All right. Innocence. The thing I do think is really wholesome and touched my heart a little bit is that we see Crosshair go back into his barracks with the Squad 99 and the Bad Batch, whatever, and we see him going through this nostalgic moment. Like, he does feel bad, and even Omega said herself, like, Crosshair is not himself. Like, he's just the inhibitor chip, and I think Crosshair is like acting on things, and even though he's advanced and things are more intense, he's still sitting back and being like, yo, like, I miss my squad. Like, what am I doing? Crosshair has been my favorite since before this. He's gonna remain my favorite because I like snipers. But it's just like, damn, poor guy. Think about these 3 episodes. I know this review breakdown was long as shit, but I had to talk about all 3 episodes so I can catch up on Friday. But what do you think of the episode? Where do you think the Bad Batch is going? What do you think is gonna happen next with the squad? Honestly, I don't know. I have no hypothesis. It just that this shit is catching me off guard. And this episode on Friday could be absolutely positively whack as fuck, or it could be good as hell. Either way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bearded Blurred on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. See y'all Friday.